As far as actually playing and going back down into Orlando, I'm still up in the air a little bit because we don't have all the details. We don't know a lot of information. So until we have that, it's hard to just commit to it 100%. Jay Williams joining us now. Jay, thanks for being here. Hey, Max, how concerned are you now about this NBA restart? Because we've heard a lot about hesitancy among the players.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be some hiccups along the way. By the way, Domonique just retweeted an image of a healthy lung and a lung removed from a COVID-19 patient. Go check that out. It is serious. So there's a pandemic, and the players are reasonably anxious about it. This is the only thing I'd say about the bubble, though. The way I perceive, and I'm sure they want more information. They want to know what's going on, but I would think the bubble, so-called bubble, would be safer than other places in this country because everyone who comes in gets tested. Now, I'm sure it could come in on a package, on food, like on other things too. But even then, if people are consistently retested, like the issue when you don't have a vaccination is locating the disease. The reason the federal government's response has been so disastrous and the pandemic here so out of proportion to what it should have been is because they didn't start testing people right away and locating where the disease was. But in the bubble, one would think that as soon as someone tests positive, they're going to try to locate and isolate right away. So to my way of thinking, it would seem that's a safer place. Like if I were a player, I would think, yeah, I'm safer there than I might be somewhere else. Okay, contact during the game notwithstanding. I understand that. It's a legitimate concern. But in terms of safety, I get it. I would think the biggest kind of sticking point would be, wait, how isolated am I going to be? How much can I get in and out? Can I see my family and things like that? But I anticipated some hiccups before this thing got going because there are hundreds of people involved, and not everyone's going to feel the exact same way about it.
I think in theory, your theory about the bubble being safer, I think it sounds good. But in practice, what you're relying on is a basketball organization to run as a health organization. Like, no other sports league has done this. This is the first time. Like you said, there are going to be some hiccups. You don't want to be that hiccup. So I could understand all the confidence that you have, Max, but I also could understand that players who have been safely quarantined at home will be like, why am I going to go do that and leave my family? Like, you want to be with your family just in case something goes on there to go play basketball. And I think that the risk reward makes sense in some situations and for some guys, but for some guys, if you've had a long career, you made a lot of money, I'm not sure how much sense it makes to go down there and be a part of a team, especially if your team is not, like we started this conversation talking about Carmelo, and it seems like he feels like there's not enough information out there. So it's hard to feel safe if you don't have a ton of information. And a guy like Carmelo, who's had a long career, and I mean, to be fair, no one's really expecting the Blazers to win the championship. It's hard for me to understand the logic behind sending a guy like that down there. And even guys who haven't made a ton of money, like, it's not like you're getting paid a bunch to go down in the bubble. I'm not exactly sure how much the players are going to get paid, but they're more than halfway through the regular season, and there can't be a ton of money left on each player's contract. So I understand your point, Max, but I also would get it if guys are like, nah, I'm gonna pass on entrusting my health to a basketball organization.
Yeah, I think it's tough for Melo because at the same time, let's not forget that this same team went to the Western Conference Finals last year, guys. And granted, they've had a lot of injuries with Nurkic, Zach Collins, but those guys are healthy now. So if you're him, you're looking at the scenario, hey, look, we love to define, are you one of the greatest upon how many championships you have? So if you believe that your team could potentially make that run, that could be a quandary for him. I understand that. And Nick, I'm with you on this. And Max, your points are valid too. You know, that old school line, that control is an illusion. And that, so for me, if you're a player that you have your money to a degree, maybe you're not on a team that you feel like you guys can contend, like, I want to control my environment as much as possible. When I'm at my home with my daughter and with my wife, I know who they're engaging with. I know who they're seeing. I know where the parameters are of my property. I know all these other things that are going on around. If I go to a bubble, even if you're first tier, I have to have trust in people that I don't know that they're doing the right thing. And I think that's a really huge ask, considering there's so much that's going on. And do I want to jeopardize my family to that 3 months within a bubble? I have to be sure what other families are doing and who my kids are allowed to react to or interact with. I know that to a degree, my environment at home might be more safe for me, and that's going to be a major issue for a lot of players moving forward.
I'm glad you brought, for a guy like Carmelo to say it now, who has proven people like me wrong in the sense that I thought he was done being a starter, but is playing at starter level at his advanced age, which is not easy. He's dropping 15 and 6 a night, shooting 37% from 3. That is a starting caliber player in the NBA on a potential playoff team. For him to be voicing those concerns when he has a lot to gain here, this is something he's been thirsty for a while, means that it's a deep-seated concern. This is not something just easily explained away.
I think the point that you made earlier, Max, that they're going to be playing games, that really matters too, because all your theory about it being safer makes sense until you throw in the fact that you have to trust an entire other team of people who you will the droplets that we're all afraid to pass between each other. Oh, they're going to be passed in games. And while it may not be safer in society at large, but in my house, I know where my family is going and I know what they're doing and I know, and I'm not going to be sweating on them and yelling in their face and those sorts of things. That's going to happen in game situations. And I don't know how safe I would feel. I think we all assume somebody's going to get infected. You don't want it to be you. So, no one here believes that they're going to go down there to that bubble and nobody is going to get infected. We all believe someone is.
But that's the point.
It could turn into a pandemic.
I think the point is to pull this off, and I've always maintained this. You got to have a bubble and no one gets in or out unless it's a total emergency, I don't know if you can take your family. If you really want to do this, and that's why I don't think you're going to see football later this season, because I think they're starry-eyed about the way they can do this all.
Well, then, Max, I'll tell you something.
Right.
As a father.
No, but then they're supposed to reset for the playoffs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.